Plaintiff, Ray Feaster, dated the defendant, and he claims he took good care of her, but she ended up stealing his identity and falsely accusing him of abuse. Ray is suing for attorney fees, a stimulus check, and emotional distress. Defendant Terry Marshall says Ray was extremely controlling and verbally abusive, and after they broke up, she was forced to file a restraining order against him. Terry denies owing Ray for anything.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
I met Miss Marshall 3 years ago, and I was walking to the corner store, and she was outside sweeping, and I spoke, and we exchanged numbers, and we got to know each other. We became more than friends. We became lovers, and I continued to date her, do things for her around her house, and I just continued to do what a real man supposed to do. She used to call me her handyman. So, like I said, it became a handyman with benefits. So once we became friends, I used to take Miss Terry to work every morning. I drove her to work for 2.5 years. As time went on, we argued a little bit because Miss Terry Marshall liked to drink and drive. And she even had a DUI in the past. And I used to fuss with her about that. So that was the argument about that. Also, we had an argument about she always put her girlfriends first. Always put her girlfriends before me. Every time I turn around, it was a girlfriend, it was a girlfriend. But come to find out down the line, it wasn't her girlfriend. It was another man. He used to text her early in the morning as I'm taking her to work. Good morning, sunshine, things of that nature. And I just got hip to it, and I was like, wow. But I still loved her.
How long after dating did you see these things?
About a year after dating, I started seeing it. And I continued to do things for her. I was there for her when she got evicted from her home. Okay, and last year when she got evicted, I was there for her. But I just continued to do things for Miss Marshall, even though I was taking care of my mother.
You ain't do too much, so she wouldn't have been evicted.
Right.
Well,
seriously though, sir, how are you doing all this other stuff? Driving her to work in the morning. I'm sure she'd have said, save your gas and send that check to the landlord.
Well, she had a household living with her, so they were able to pay the rent. They just didn't pay it.
Other adults?
Yes, another adult living with her. Yes, she did.
Okay, I understand.
Yes,
All right.
Yes, she did.
Now, you can't take care of everybody. All right, ma'am, let me hear from you. You had a man that allowed you to get put out? Let me hear from you. Give me some background. Give me some background on meeting him.
Okay, so I met Ray in 2017 when I moved into the rental property on Master Street. He was a good guy. My girlfriend told me he was too old for me at the time, but being as though he was, I admired him because he took care of his mother, which was a very good thing. I admire men that take care of their parents because I don't have either one of my parents, my mother or my father. So I admired that about him. And he was a good person. And after a while, he became very controlling, he didn't want me to go out after work. He didn't want me hanging out with my girlfriends. He always made it seem like I was hanging out with other men, but it was just my girlfriends and I was going out after work. And what he failed to mention is that why we wasn't paying rent was because we was in court because we had insufficient heat at our rental property and the money wasn't escrow. So it wasn't like we wasn't paying. We had a whole court case going through with the whole system. He went through my phone and texted all the guys in my phone and told them not to call me. He texted my cousins, the deacons of my church, don't text my woman and all that. And they would only check on me when I wouldn't show up for church. And that's all they would be, how are you doing? And he would text them, talking about, don't text my woman, don't call her no more and all that. And this is the deacons of my church that's married and everything.
That's what they call them now?
Yes.
Okay. You say, yeah.
And also, he had access to my property because he said, he was the handyman. And I used to pay him for his services when he did work in my house. And he was, he started out as a handyman, then became intimate and all that. But first he was the handyman, and that's how we met. And he had access to my house. He even stole my passport one time so I wouldn't go on vacation with my cousin in 2019. And it was just like, it's just a lot. I didn't want to be in a relationship where a man was abusive to me and all that stuff. And as far as the DUI, my DUI was like in 2012, and I paid the price for that. And I did not drink and drive because my family wouldn't let me. And when I did get to that point, I would call somebody or not even get in the car, and I would be with somebody else. So like that was all unnecessary. But I just think that I just don't think I owe him anything for.
All right, we haven't gotten to that yet. Sir, tell me about the lawsuit.
Your Honor, first of all, the attorney fees was from a false allegation she made against me for protection from abuse, and it was dismissed in Philadelphia. The judge went over 5 different warrants to see if she would want her a protection from abuse. She didn't find no grounds to want her a protection from abuse. The second one is the stimulus check. The stimulus check is, I had a knee surgery. I had knee replacement in 2018. My daughter was at the hospital, Your Honor, and before I went in the operating room, my daughter had to go to work. So she gave my wallet and keys to Miss Terry. Okay, that's how she looked through my wallet and got my Social Security number. She claimed me for 2017, 2018, and 2019. I also have a text message of her in July of 2020 texting me saying that she was sorry for using my personal information.
Okay.
After she was evicted, Your Honor, she went out and purchased a home within 30 days to avoid the eviction being on her credit report. Therefore, she wouldn't been able to purchase a home right away. She has my name on her on all her tax returns from 2017, 2018, and 2019 that she gave to the mortgage company. I never lived with her, so how you going to have me down on your tax return living with you for 3 years?
Okay, so what about the stimulus check?
That was included, the $1,200 stimulus check. I didn't receive it, Your Honor, because Ms. Marshall had claimed me for 3 years.
Ma'am, what do you say to these things? One, the restraining order, and then the checks.
Okay, so the protection from abuse order I filed because after I broke it off with Mr. Feaster, maybe in April, May, he became very abusive, verbally abusive, and the only reason
how did you see him? How were you encountering him? You mean he did it by text or by phone? How?
Well, he would text me, and he would also call my job 1 million times a day. I was still being cordial with him because I felt as though we could still be friends. I thought that we could still be friends because everybody need a friend. So I thought that even if
everybody don't need a friend that calls them and harasses them, ma'am. I don't. But now you're starting to make hurt your case. I decided to be friends with him because everybody needs a friend. No, everybody doesn't need a friend that harasses them like you say. So much so that you have to get a restraining order on them. So much so that he calls your job all the time. You already had friends, remember? The friends that you were going out with all the time that he didn't want you to go out with. So this stuff about I let him harass me because he needed a friend.
Okay, so he also threatened to blow up my car. So after he threatened to blow up my car, that's when I went out and got the protection from abuse order.
How did he threaten? How did he make that threat?
He called me on my phone. He said, "Don't be surprised one day if you come out and your car blow up." So I took that very personal as a threat, and that's when I became very.
He left it on a recording?
No, I spoke to him.
Okay, how often were you speaking with him after you broke up?
Not that often because I
How
wouldn't pick up
often
his
you
calls.
thinking it? Oh, you would?
Maybe once, twice a day. Maybe once or twice a day. And the only reason the protection from abuse order got thrown out is because the judge said since there was no physical abuse, and there was never no physical abuse because I wouldn't put up with physical abuse. I mean, verbal abuse is just as bad as physical abuse. And I just told him that I just wanted it on record that I was afraid of him and that he made me feel threatened for my life. And he called my job to try to cause me to lose my job, going back towards this Social Security number. And the fact of the matter is I used him on my taxes is because he agreed with
Maybe he
it.
dismissed it because you told him you took his calls and talked to him once or twice every day. I would dismiss it too. If you answered a man that was harassing you so much so that you had to get a restraining order against him, that he was threatening you, that he was doing all these things, yet every day, twice a day sometimes, when he called, hello, hi, Ray. Oh, don't say that, Ray. That's not nice. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Maybe tonight you can call me back. Okay. Why wouldn't you hang up immediately when you heard his voice?
Because I wouldn't listen to him.
You just told me you heard everything he said. When you said he told you he was going to blow up your car, you heard it.
He called my job 5 or 6 times a day. I didn't pick up. He used to just harass me at work.
Right.
I didn't listen to him after I realized it was
so how
him.
did you get the information that he's going to blow up your car? Because that was the last thing that caused you to go to get the restraining orders when he threatened to blow up the car.
He called me on my cell phone, and I picked up the call, and he said it.
Why?
Why?
Yes.
Because he called me from a blocked number.
Let's go to the stimulus.
Okay,
What do you want to tell me about the
stimulus check, he
stimulus?
gave me the use of his Social Security number after, we was in a relationship, and after a while, I didn't file my taxes in 2017. And so in 2018, after he had knee surgery, he stayed with me for a couple of days and all that. Then I was like, oh, well, I could use you on my taxes to get a little extra money to file for my 2017. He gave me his number willingly. I did not steal or take his wallet or go through his wallet or anything. His daughter kept his wallet.
What was the purpose of him giving you his number?
Social Security number? Mm-hmm. So I could file his tax so he could go on my tax return.
Okay, fraud.
So he agreed
Fraud,
with it. So
fraud.
he agreed with it.
Okay, I'm just letting you
But
know
he was in my house
I'm
for
just
a
letting you
long
know
time,
you're
yeah.
admitting a fraud. You've committed fraud.
Okay.
You've committed fraud against the government.
I did not get his stimulus check because I only got one. I had proof with number on my bank statement when the first
What
stimulus
did you
checks
get then?
came out in April.
You got the deduction, no. What evidence did you want to show me about what you're telling me, ma'am?
The bank statement, page number 1.
What is that going to tell me?
That I did not receive a stimulus check for him for
How
that
does it
time
tell
that
me
it
what
came
you
out.
didn't receive?
Right. I did not receive one, so I
How
did not
will
owe
your
him.
evidence tell me what you did not receive?
Yes.
How does what you show me say you did not receive it?
Because all that says is I received $1,200. And that was
how about
$1,200
another
per
report? You could have gotten it later. Just because you only showed me one.
That's the only one I received in my account on that date, and that's the date that they
This does
came
not
out.
prove that. Judgment for the plaintiff, $5,000. I believe nothing that she says. I believe she's engaged in fraud, and she better be careful and hope that the IRS agent doesn't watch this. If they do, I'll beg for mercy. I'll throw myself on the mercy of the court for you because your mercy request ain't going to even be enough. Have a good day. $5,000 for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor. I still love her, and I don't mean no harm. I just want to be friends.
I don't think friends would do this to friends, like make lies up. So I meant like, it's no way that we could be friends anymore or anything like that.
Right.
And I just wish you the best for your life. I wish you the best in your life and carry on with your life. And just please forget about me. And don't call me ever again.